Hi there, this is Ronnie Amber's Night coming at you with another video. I thought I'd throw in my 2 cents on the question of is gaming geeky? I think the question really comes from two answers. It's really a two-part question. Um, is it geeky? The answer is yes. Let's be absolutely honest about it. It's geeky. We are geeks, we are nerds. We're into sci-fi and fantasy and horror. We like to play games where we are fantasy heroes or villains, where we've played people standing up against the Cthulhu mythos, or we've played vampires, or we've played science fiction heroes of one kind or another. We've been Jedi, we've been starfighter pilots, we've been all over the world and back again. Of course it's geeky. There's no point in trying to deny it, because it's a geeky hobby. The bigger question is it an insult? I'm sure many people use geek or nerd as an insult. I don't. I don't use it as an insult because I am a geek. I am a nerd. I stand up. There you are. Put on a geek pride parade and I will be there floating all. I don't see it as an insult. I don't see it as something to feel embarrassed or ashamed about. I never used to feel this way. Excuse me. I never used to feel this way. I used to be very, very shy and worried about what people thought because I played Dungeons and Dragons. I played this silly game where it all happens in your head and they use these special dice and it's all very silly. And people couldn't understand it. I'm not ashamed anymore because quite frankly, I'm in my 40s now and, you know, I am what I am and I own it. I am a geek, nerd, call it what you will. I like playing role-playing games, I play tabletop war games, I've been known to play a collectible card game or two, I still have several Magic decks, and I enjoy playing Magic. I've been getting into Munchkin recently. I'm hoping to maybe buy a couple of fantasy board games. I'm a geek. I've been known to read the odd comic book. I watch a lot of sci-fi and fantasy TV, not as much as maybe other people, but I'm kind of picky. But I watch it, I enjoy it. I don't see it as a negative. Other people use it as a negative. Other people see this strange hobby that requires a little thought and actually has a rule book that has more than four sides of A6 or a little pamphlet. Anything that looks more complex than Monopoly tends to distract people. But I see why they use it. It's the same reason we have people having a go at other sections of society. It's ignorance. Pure and simple, it's ignorance. They don't know about it. This is partly our fault as a community, that we haven't really had a positive image of our hobby out there. I would like that to change. One of the things I do hope with YouTube channels like Geek and Sundry is, and many of the other people of the RPG brigade on here. People like the Gentleman Gamer and Tetsubo and a whole far too many to mention. They are people who are really trying to bridge that gap to show that yes, it's geeky, but it's not something to be ashamed of, afraid of, disparaging of. It's actually something creative and positive and enjoyable. It's why we do it. We don't play this game out of some sort of masochistic tendency. We do it because it's fun. It's a great rush. It's one of the few legal highs that can actually be done without any sort of health warning involved. But we really need a really positive image out there. A lot of people look at the Big Bang Theory, the comedy series, and feel that it's a negative portrayal. I'm going to go out here and say I don't agree. I think that show isn't dealing with negative stereotypes, it's dealing with archetypes. And it's happily making gentle fun of and subverting the hell out of those archetypes. And I like that. I like the knowing references. I loved the one-liner about Raj upset because he didn't have a girlfriend while they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and Sheldon's remark that if everyone who played Dungeons and Dragons stopped playing because they were upset they couldn't get a girlfriend, this game's in serious trouble. That I found hilarious because it was playing up the archetype, something rotten and just having fun with it. I got the joke. I think in part because I'm so comfortable with my geekdom that I'm quite happy to get the joke. But I don't think we should be ashamed of who we are. I don't think we should be ashamed of our hobby. I think we need to get a positive view out there, and that will dispel a lot of it. Video games have went through a transformation since they stopped being viewed as geeky and became mainstream. I think role-playing games and war games can be the same. As much as I despise Games Workshop's tactics, I have to at least acknowledge that one of the things that they've done with this domination of the market and a Games Workshop shop in pretty much every town in the country is they've really put wargaming, or at least fantasy wargaming to an extent, front and center in people's minds. It's starting to come out of the shadows and become more mainstream, at least in the view. There is a downside to that, the fact that Games Workshop is the only company doing that at the moment, and I really wish others would do that to show that there's more out there and expand on the hobby. I would like to see role-playing games go the same way. It surprises me, and I made mention in this in another video, it surprises me that there was never a role-playing game based on Harry Potter. That, I think, would have had a dynamic effect, because I think so many Harry Potter fans, and Harry Potter has pretty much become mainstream fantasy, so many would have bought the role-playing game. Sight unseen, I think, a lot of them, simply because it was Harry Potter. I think that would have done well. I think if it'd done a decent version, they could have used the OGL. Or its own system, but the OGL could have covered it easily. And that would have been great. So I would say to everyone, really, if you're a geek, own it. Geek, nerd, call it what you will. Own it. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be afraid of it. I'm mindful of something that Terry Pratchett said in an interview, which I thought was absolutely spot on, and I'm going to pretty much finish with this. He said, a person who is known to don a Star Trek uniform and has Star Trek videos up on a shelf in the room and has a Star Trek bed set with a duvet cover and a pillowcase and has Star Trek pajamas and has a Star Trek alarm clock is seen as somewhat weird, while someone who has a Manchester United alarm clock and a Manchester United duvet and pillowcase and Manchester United videos and a Manchester United strip is seen as perfectly normal. They're both geeks. The only difference is football has been mainstream. Sci-fi, fantasy, gaming hasn't yet. I think that can change. It will take time and it will take some positive press, but I think it can happen. But even if it doesn't happen, own it, love it, enjoy it. We are the most creative end of table gaming. Board games, your average family board game, I enjoy them, but they're not good enough. They're not involving enough for me. I need a role-playing game. Excuse me. A role-playing game or a war game, collectible card game, it needs to be something that inspires the mind. And I worry that one of the problems we have today is people are really afraid of those who enjoy their mind. There seems to be a snobbery against intelligence. I don't want that. So what I would say is, get out there, enjoy your gaming, own your geekdom, and if people use it as an insult, sod them. All they're showing is their own ignorance and their own stupidity, their own laziness in not wanting to understand our hobby. They don't have to play. But as our hobby doesn't involve the real life application of brutal force, which so often happens in some other aspects of life, I would say our hobby is a hell of a lot healthier than getting drunk as a skunk on a Saturday night and kicking 7 bells out of someone some complete stranger you're just having a casual argument with. So go out there and game, own it, and enjoy it.